Hi everyone, and welcome to the third session of the game making course on Tabletopia. This is just an overview of what we did on Thursday. So this week is going to be creating elements in Photopea. If you don't know what Photopea is, it's basically Photoshop. So great for people who maybe have an older version of Photoshop and maybe want to try some newer features. It doesn't have all the features of Photoshop, but you can still save in PSD, which is pretty good. So you can open up in Photoshop and open up here. You can also have a few other elements here, different programs that you can open up. So all of these ones here that it supports. Yeah, so if you remember, now I already created a few elements here, but don't worry, I'm going to go through everything again and upload them. So if you remember last time we had our games, so we go to my games in workshops, and you've got a place here for a box, but I just put a logo there. Nothing really much has changed here. We did our setup here, which we did for all of our elements, which are in our objects. And this time, basically what we want is we want to add cards and we want to add a board. We also want to do a token because this is, so I don't think I actually showed you how to delete stuff before. Click on the little square in the corner, click the delete, and it will go away. Now just keep in mind, you can delete something in objects, but if you actually import it into the game, it will still be in the game. So you have to delete it in the actual sandbox element as well. So let's look at some of the files that I've done. So these are all the files I've done. Now I've already created some of the back of the cards and everything, but again, don't worry too much. I'm going to recreate all of this. So I've done a very simple logo. This could be technically a sketch or something. I've taken some stuff on the internet. Now all these images are just for educational purposes only. I don't plan to, make money from this. It's just to show you how to work stuff. So obviously all of this stuff still has the copyright and everything. I'm going to be providing 2 links in the description for some great websites where you can get some free images. I think one is called Unsplash, and Pixabay. So they're pretty good websites, and I'm going to put those in the description that you can click. They do have some terms and conditions. Just read them and stuff. But if you just want to play around and test and stuff, then sure, just go on Google and take an image. But if you do plan to do anything more of it, you have to get permission for where the images are. So just keep that in mind. But like I said, for this purposes, these are just for educational, and that's it really. So, you could create all of this in Photoshop and everything, or drawn, scan it in. I think there's a few people going to do that. So let's start. So let's start with the cards, because that's probably going to be the most important thing. So make sure we're in our folder here. So go to Objects, click on your game. Now, I think I mentioned this last week, but if you want to have a random set of cards, you probably want to create your own folder. So create your own folder for cards for each deck. So if you have multiple decks in the game, you want to have a folder for each. So I've only got one deck for a set of cards. K-Fresh cards, that's fine. I'm going to go to Create Object. I'm going to go to Card. And basically, it's a simple drag and drop, so it's really, really easy. We're not going to play around with a magnetic map for now. But if you remember in the first session when we played the donut game, the cards would snap on onto the table or onto an area, and that's what a magnetic map does. So it actually tells you the size here, which is really good. So 440. So let's do that. Go to New. 440. What was the other one? 624. 624. Great. Do that, and there you go. You've got your your card here. Now you can double click on this area here to rename it. So we'll call this card. We'll call it card 2 because there's already I've already got a card set in my folders. Now, when you save this, it's going to save into your wherever your presets are for downloading. So if you were to download an image randomly or whatever you do on your browser, that's where it will save. My one always comes to my downloads. So if I save it or export it as a JPEG, so go to File, Export, JPEG. You see it will come down here, just like any other file, and it will appear down here. Now, in Photoshop, you can save over something, and you don't have multiple files of the same name. In Photopea, it doesn't really work like that because it's not really working on that premise. It's working on each one as individual. But that's fine. You got to have some give and take with limitations of the program. Right, so let's start putting some elements in. So I had the back here. So imagine I was looking as this as my reference. So what did I have here? So I had that really nice thing here, pattern here. Now this could be any pattern you want. So we'll do the back first. So I can just drag and drop, and there you go. And it already comes with the transform elements here. If you don't have the transform, make sure you've got you're clicking on the right layer. If you haven't used Photoshop before, the layers on the right-hand side are much like the layers of an onion or pieces of paper. You'll always see the top one first and the bottom one last. If you've got like a dot on the last piece of paper and you stack it with 10 other pieces of paper, chances are you won't ever see that dot on the last one. So, if this layer here is bigger than the previous one, you won't see it. But yeah, you're getting the hang of it. So let's put that there. That's fine. I'm quite happy with that. So there's a little red line there to show that it's in center, and we'll leave that as it is. What else do we need to do? We need to have a square. So let's have a square. So we're going to make this brown. So we want this to be a brown color. Yeah, it's already brown. And we don't have to create a new layer because we're doing a shape. So we're clicking on this area here and then clicking and dragging, and it'll already create a shape. Now, funny that it was brown here, but it was red up here. Photoshop, it normally takes the color from down here, but like I said, it's different. So make sure that the shape is selected, click on the fill, click on that. Can we do that one? Oh, we can, cool. So you can click on that, or you could just click whatever shape you want. Let's do, for changes, let's do this, do a bit yellow, why not? So let's do that. Now, as I was saying, the yellow shape is bigger or on top of this pattern. So we don't want that. We actually want that to be below. So I actually want the yellow to be the base of my back of the card. So let's move that down, which I can do. But now if I turn on this layer, it's going to cover it. So what do I do? Well, what I could do is I can create a clipping tool, which is really useful for cards and probably something that you'll be using a lot. You could do it for any shape. It could work for pretty much anything. And I think it's quite useful for cards. So I'm going to make a slightly smaller square. Doesn't matter about the color now. And I'm going to put that here. Now that's smaller than the pattern shape, right? Because you can see the pattern here and you can see the yellow square there. I want to put that beneath the, I know you can't see this because it's two different colors. Let me just change the color actually, because that would probably be quite useful. And click on the rectangle, click on shape, and let's change that to pink just for now, okay? So what I want is I want the pink area to show the pattern and I want the yellow area just to be as it is. So in order for the clipping to happen, it always has to be on top of the area that you want it to mask. So I want the pink to be where I want it to mask, and I want the pattern to be clipped to it. So I put the pattern on top, covers everything, but don't worry. I'm going to right click, and it says clipping mask here, and it's going to clip anything that's below it. So click on that, and there you go. See, now the pink area now has the pattern area, and I've still got the yellow. The benefit of this is actually I can select the pattern area and move this around. So I might not like this part of the pattern. I can have it here if I want, and you're not really destructing anything. I'm not cutting anything out, which is really useful. So use it that way. That's really good. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. But now I need a logo. So I need to have something on there. Now I can create a logo here, but I want something that I'll be using multiple times. So let's create a new file. Let's do 440 by 440 because why not? I'm going to call this logo 2 just because I've already got a logo. So logo 2. And now I want, let's do the field type tool. So let's do that. I'm going to create a new layer just because I don't know, just preference really. I don't really like using the background layer. Let's go to the paint bucket tool. If you don't know where something is, if you hold down the button, it will come up with multiple options. Okay. So this one here is a gradient, and that's the paint bucket tool. So I'm going to click that, select that, and that makes everything, well, brown. And in fact, I actually want that to be a circle, don't I? So I'm going to use the masking trick again. So click on Eclipse. It's pink, but again, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to drag it. Now, at the moment, I can drag this to any size I want. If I want it to be uniform, I'm going to hold down Shift. Okay. And now if I go, oh yeah, I've done it here. If I press space as well, I can move the circle. Okay. So keep that in mind, all these little shortcuts. So I can have that about there. Now, like I said, if I do the masking type here, nothing's really going to happen because the square is bigger than the circle, so nothing will happen. So I'm going to undo that, put the circle underneath because the circle is smaller, and then I'm going to do the masking, and there you go. You've got that now. And now that circle is slightly off. I can just drag that like that. And I actually want this to be an alpha. What an alpha is just a transparent image. So basically, it won't show this white. If I don't care about alphas, I'll save something as a JPEG. If I want an alpha, I'll save it as a PNG, and that's all here. So save as PNG or JPEG. You could do scalable graphic, you could do a GIF, you could do a PDF. That's up to you. There's some more here, but I think for what we need, just these two will be fine. So I'm going to delete this background layer. You need to have at least one layer active here. It won't let you delete it if I take all of these off. So yeah, make sure you have at least two there. Right, so we've got that. Maybe we have, let's use this. Why not? I have this. Oh. Now I've dragged beneath the layer just because of where it was selected. So that's fine. We'll drag that on top. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And we want to have another layer. Now what I can do is I can drag this layer here to this little button here, which is our new layer tool. And it will duplicate it. And then I want to put that on top. Now that's going to be the exact same size, but I don't want that. So I'm going to hold down Shift. And I'm going to hold down Alt. And now it's going to do it in the center. See? So I'll do that about there. That's fine. Turn back on the layer. Put on clipping mask. And now I've got this effect here, which is pretty cool. I like that. And now let's do the color. So I'm going to do white. When you're working with layers, in Photoshop it's a little bit more forgiving, but for Photopea it doesn't really like it so much. When you start typing text, try to type it not within a shape, just because it doesn't really like it so much. So make sure you're selecting above. I'm going to go cave. I'm going to drag it across here. Now, once I've done it here, that's fine. So I can select all of that. And let's pick a better font. Let's try something different. Yeah, let's do that one. That's black. Again, it hasn't done that color there, so we'll change that. And we want to make that a bit bigger. So cave. Drag that down so it's a duplicate. And I'm going to call this rush. There you go. That's how we'll do a capital R. There you go. Now you can do whatever you want with this. You can change this on the side. You can add some other elements. You know, you can add whatever you want. This is just for basic general use and just for you to understand. So I'm happy with that. I've got logo too. I want to save this now, so I don't want to get it, you know, if whatever something happens. I want to save this as a PSD. That's going to save it into my downloads, which is here. Now I always have it in, I'm going to cut and copy into my actual folder, which I've been using. So these are going to be my new, look at all these new files. There you go. And now it's in there. And I can drag that into Photopea and it'll work. I also want to save this because I'm going to be using it. So I'm going to save it as a PNG. Remember, we want it as an alpha. Save. It's going to save it down to my downloads again. There you go. Cut. Paste. And now I've got my logo, which is great. Now I can go back to my, actually I don't need this anymore, so I can actually get rid of it. I want to go back to my card. And I'm just going to drag and drop that on there. Hold down Shift to make this a bit smaller. There you go. And that's in the center now. So that's the back of my card. Now I probably want to have this in a own folder, really, within Photopea, which you could do in Photoshop. So I'm going to, double click there. So I'm going to hold down Shift and select everything. And I'm going to drag it down to this folder here, right next to the new layer. You can, if you want, to select it and then drag it across, but there's no point. To delete a layer, just drag it to the bin. Now everything's in this folder. I can just call this back. Now I can save this as a PSD. Great. But if I do something else, it's just going to download it again, which is a little bit annoying, but what can you do? Anyway, so I'm going to save this to the PNG, which is fine. Save that. There you go. Got my card and back. And now I want to do a new one. So I'm going to click a new folder, and I'm going to call this front 1. Okay. And then I'm going to get rid of everything. Now, what do I want for my front of the card? What did I get? So I got this card, which was them rushing through the card. So let's just drag that in. That's quite nice. And pretty much the same sort of elements. I'm going to drag this bigger here. That's quite nice. Actually, let's move that into the folder here. Oh. There you go. Got to have it highlighted. So when you turn it off, it'll go off. Oh, come on. There you are. A little bit tricky, but it's fine. So open a little triangle here to see. I'm going to call this Cave Rush. That's because it's the name of the card. Yeah. And I'm going to have plus 1 space. Drag that down. -1 coin. Now, as I was explaining on Thursday to the students, don't worry too much about the design of the cards, because at this stage you still want to play test it. You are sure not, you can refine things, get something down. So I'm not very happy with the design of these cards because, it's not my image for one. I probably want to do a custom thing. Maybe the logo I'm not happy with. There's kind of be a general elements of things that I don't like. But just for the premises of actually making sure that the game works, I think that's important. So, you know, you could have the best art in the world and you spend loads of time, but your gameplay is rubbish. You don't want that. You want your game to work, and then you can refine things. You want to refine the gameplay, you want to refine the design. So for now, this is fine. So I want Cave Rush, which is the actual cards, or maybe call it Cave Run, actually. Let's call it Cave Run. Let's do that. Cave Run. This is all in this folder here. So let's do Cave Run. And that's +1 space plus -1 coin. So we'll save that. And that's there. Now, if you notice, the name of the cards are exactly the same. That's because you can't choose to name something else, which is a bit annoying. So you have to select it here each time, just double click in. But, you know, like I said, you've got to like give or take. So what I could do is I can just click on this, click on rename, and call this Cave Run. And there you go. I've got that. And I can call this Cave Back. Right, let's do that again. I can actually drag this whole folder and duplicate it, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do that. Click on the new layer, and that's going to duplicate everything. If you do it on the folder, it will just put it in its own folder. I don't want that. And Control Z to get rid of something. So get rid of that, and I'm going to call the new one Cave Greed. Okay. This one I give myself 1 coin, so +1 coin. Oh. But I go back 1 space. There you go. Oh, because it's already there, everything's already in place. Oh, you're going to rename it Cave Greed. I also want to change the image, so let's get rid of this image here. And I've already got an image that I've taken, which is this one with the cards or the little things here. No, everything's disappeared, but don't worry because it's white on white. So don't worry. When I drag this, it will all appear. There you are. Okay. There you go. Cool. And that's my cards. I don't really want any more cards. Oh, I do need 1 more card. I need the Cave Drop card. So we'll have to do that. So let's do this one more time. File, save. It's going to save it. Go to downloads. Call this Cave Greed. There you go. Duplicate everything again. This is going to be Cave Drop. Now for this one, I don't want any text, so I can just get rid of this or turn it off. I'll just turn it off. And the final image was this coin knocking someone off. Now, as you can probably see, there's going to be a problem here, white on white. But don't worry. We'll put that on the bottom here. So it's on the bottom of everything. Get rid of Cave, the previous one. It's already there. You can kind of see it, but I don't want that because it's not too good. So I'm going to select it and make that black. Cave Drop. There you go. And I'm going to save this as a JPEG. Cave Drop. There you go. Now, you may think, oh, I've already saved it. But remember, we already saved it at this point here. We want to save it again because everything will go. So click on File, save PSD. And there you go. It's a new one. It's this one here. So that one can get done. This can just be renamed. And let's cut and paste everything into your folder, just because it'll be a little bit easier. Oh, not that folder, sorry. New files. There you go. Right. So we've got everything here. So that's good. So let's close that. We've done the first element. So it's just dragging and dropping now. So let's do that. Let's do the first one first, the cave run first. So I'm just basically going to move this to the side. Cave rush, drag, drop. Boom, that's the back, which I've already done a mistake. So that's actually not what I want. But don't worry. Oh, that's because I had everything selected. So I want to make sure that one thing is selected. Click on back. There you go. That's done. And let's do cave run. Drag there. And we're going to call this cave run card do. Okay. And then we're going to go save. It's just going to say, you know, that you don't violate any copyrights. Like I said, this is only for educational purposes, but when you do it, make sure that you do it officially, or you're just playing about. You know, you don't plan to make any money from it. That's very important. So click OK. Now, sometimes you might get a 404 error. Now, this is what happened last time. Tabletopia is not perfect, but that's fine. Don't worry, because last time when it worked, it still happened for me. So I'm going to go back to objects, go to Cave Rush cards, and there's my card. Now I'm going to select it and click on it, and there you go. But what I want to do now is I want to duplicate this because I want to use the rest of the cards. So I'm going to click on, once I've selected it, click on duplicate. It's going to open up a new tab, which is kind of annoying, but I guess it's just the feature. And I don't have to select the new back. All I have to do is do the new front. So we're going to go greed. I'll call this greed. Save. It's going to give me the same options again. Maybe another 404. We'll see. Yep, another 404. That's fine. Just make sure that everything's. So I'm going to close that tab just because it's a little bit easier. Refresh. Should be there. Yes. Okay. Select which one I want. You do that one. Duplicate again and do the last one. Go to file. Cave drop. There you go. And we're going to call this cave drop. Cave drop. Click on save. Yeah. Another 404, classic. Thank you. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so now if I go to objects, Cave Rush cards, you'll see you've got your 3 cards here. Now I want to have more than one on these cards. So now why is that not giving me a number? That's strange. Let's refresh again. Okay. That's not giving me the option to do 1. That's very odd. So I want to have more than 1 card on this. I want 5 here. I want 5 here. But I also want 5 here. Why is it not giving me 5? This is the thing with Tabletopia. You can't really, it's not perfect. Let's go back to objects and see if it's fixed itself. I think I had a problem last week where a student couldn't find a test button. It just wouldn't appear. And so we had to do a few things and it appeared. So like I said, Tabletopia isn't perfect. Oh, there you go. See, it's fine now. So I want 5 cards of this as well. Okay, so 5, 5, 5. Perfect. Right. I also want to turn on random because remember, like last time, I want to use this card just to randomize the deck each time. So my cards are done. Okay, so that's all good. Go back to Cave Rush, which I can just use a little shortcut here. And the next thing I want to do is the token, which is pretty easy. So let's go create objects. We'll go to the token, little circle here. Let's go to, where are we? Now I've already done the token here. All I've done is I've taken this image, but I'll show you anyway. For this purposes, I'm not going to use the size just because there's no real need, but I'll just do, to be honest, it's probably best to always actually use the size. We'll just do that, 440. So we'll do that, but I want it to be square. So I'm not going to do 440 by 444. So 440, oh, it's already done. Okay, cool, right. Let's do the token. That's good. We're going to create a circle. We want the circle to be smaller, and we're holding spacebar to make this. Do that there. Create a clipping mask. Get rid of that because I want it to be a transparent because I don't want to show anything else. At the moment, everything's a little bit crazy. If I just move the circle, it's going to move everything. it's not going to move the actual image. So I want to select all the layers. So make sure that I've selected layers by holding down Shift, put that in the center, hold down Shift to do universal scales. Cool. There you go. I'm happy with that. I don't need to save this as a PSD because it's just a transparent image, but then I'm going to File, export it as PNG. And it's going to save that. And you can see it doesn't have any, if I double click on it, it doesn't show any white side there. If I were to save this as a JPEG, you would see white, and you'll see there. So I've selected JPEG. See, you've got the white bit there. Right. So I don't want to get rid of that. I want to get this. Now I've already done this because I just showed you, but just for the purposes here, we'll put this in new file. So I've got my token. So let's do that. So get rid of that because there's no real layers that I'm working on there. Let's go here. Again, it's a simple case of drag and drop. Now, the front and the back of my tokens are going to be exactly the same. So I'm going to drag them on the front and back. But if for some reason your tokens were different on the back, obviously you change that. So this code is cave token, new, save as, yeah. So we've done all of that. The last thing we need to do is the board. And it's pretty much the same process. So we'll do that. Just bear in mind also for Cave Rush here, to edit the image here, you know, all I did was go into my actual game, click on edit. This is Cave Rush, which is the old logo. Let's do the new logo. I can drag. And there you go, that's the new logo. And I'll click save. And it will update it then. Perfect. Right. Last thing we need to do is the board game, because you have to actually play on the board game itself. Click on that, click on create objects, board game, and then you do the actual size. So let's do the biggest size, so 920, because again, I want it to be a square, but this is up to you. So 920, and 920, cool. I got that. I want this to be the background, which I had before, which was this one here, which I thought was quite nice. So we'll put that there. Make that a bit bigger. That's going to be on the bottom layer. So we'll make that a bit bigger, actually, a bit more bigger. Yeah, so that's okay, cool. And then I want spaces. So I want them to come from this area here and then come from there, but I need to have squares. I need to have individual squares so you know how many spaces you go in, and also to place cards. So I'm going to create a rectangle. I don't want it pink. I want it to be a white color. And I'm just going to do a line like this. There you go. And see there's a line there. Now I want to drag this. And I probably want to have 4 maybe. Let's try that. Let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, let's do one more. 5. Whoop. Now, as you can see, this isn't equal. So I'm going to select all of these layers. And then if you go up here, making sure that the move tool is selected, you'll see these buttons here. So I want it to be equal horizontal because this is the direction. And there you go. You see how it's done it? It's done it from this point here to this point here to be equal. If I put it up here, it's still going to be equal because it's only taken from the first and last point. But I can probably put that in the middle and make it generally okay. Now with all these layers selected, I want to put this in a folder. So I'm going to do that. And now it's in its own little folder. Because what I want to do is I want to have the lines to go the opposite way. So I'm just going to drag the folder to new layer. Now I've got 2. I'm going to make sure I'm going to go to the corner so that the arrow changes. And I'm just going to change that like so. There you go. Now I've got my grid system, which is good. And now I want to have an additional bit onto my board, and I want to have walls into my board game. Now, just for general purposes, I'm going to do this very rough. Let's use the, where is it? We just want some straight lines. So I'm just going to do this. Click a new layer. And I'm just going to do this sort of jagged line. There you go. It doesn't have to be super neat, like I said. You can refine this afterwards. Yeah, that's basically like you know, a loop. So I've started from there and I went all the way around. Select the fill tool, and then I'm going to do a like orangey color, and then select it. There you go. I'm going to put that there. There you go. Now, this is a thing that I found last time, which was quite interesting. I can double click on the layer and it will give me options like it does in Photoshop. So I can give myself a stroke, which just makes a line on the outside. I can do an inner shadow, which is quite nice. So I'll just have that. I can have an outer glow, so I can make things glow basically. Oh, sorry, that's an inner glow, so we want an outer glow. Where's that? There you go. I can do whatever I want. Oh, now the thing is, this is incredibly slow, but it is doing it all online. So just please just take that in consideration with a pinch of salt. You know, if you use Photoshop, it's going to be a lot easier. But that's not to say you can't use it. It's just a little bit slower. So just be patient with it. So I want this to be a little bit thinner, actually. Let's do that there and put that there. Okay, cool. Let's have that for now. So I want them to come here, come up here and do this sort of motion. So I'm going to drag that, do that there. And I'm going to do this all the way up to the top, like so. Oh, what's happened there? Okay. Let's get rid of that layer. Don't know what's happened there. See, sometimes it goes a bit funny, so you can't really. So we're going to select that. Okay, so it's gone a bit funny there for some reason, but never mind. Okay, so it goes like that. I put this all in a folder as well because it'll be a little bit neater. So I'll call this walls. We can call this lines. Again, just folders are really useful if you're working with a team or just by yourself and you don't get too confused. I also want to have a light on the end, so we'll put that on this layer here, but I want to make its own little layer. So what we'll do is create a new layer. Just because I only selected that because I wanted to be on top. If I click this button, it will change it to black and white, and then I can press this little button to change it, or I could have just done this, which I might actually still do. Do white there. We've got this button here, which is the brush tool, which is really important. If I select this, I can do the size of the brush. That's a bit too big. Let's do that size there. Yeah, that's fine. And that is not working. Why is that not working? This is the thing with Tabletopia. You have to make sure, you have to sort of see why things are not working. Happens sometimes in Photoshop as well, to be honest. And that's just how it is. So let's do that. There you go. Sometimes that happens in Photoshop. So what happened is I had created a tiny, tiny little loop that I couldn't see, and you can only draw in that loop when it's selected. So all I did is create another little loop. Then I basically clicked off it and then tried to draw, which you can see. So I'm going to put that here. Now that's a bit rubbish. So I want this to be blurred. So if you go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, There you go. That's like the light source on the outside of the cave. I'd recommend you play with all of these. The filters ones are really good. So all different types of filters. Select, you don't really need to worry too much about this. The layers, I think there's pretty much from these bits here. You can create smart layers, but don't worry too much about that. Adjustments, so if you want to make an image lighter, so if I say I don't like this brown here, I want to make this a bit lighter, select the layer, click on image, adjustments, either brightness, contrast, or levels. Doesn't really matter. Well, it matters on what you want, but they do similar things. And then I can do that. See? There you go. So for that purposes, that's fine. If I double click, that should go, oh, no, it doesn't work. Oh, it does work, kind of. Okay, if you double click on in Photoshop, it like goes back. So I can click on the zoom tool, and if I click on it, it'll go zoom. If I hold down Alt, it'll zoom out. Okay, so that's fine. I want to name this cave board, and I want to save as PSD. It'll save it like it's done before. And it doesn't have an alpha, so I'll just save it as a JPEG. Perfect. That's all in my downloads. Let's cut and paste that into my new images. And as you can see, that's pretty much everything that I've done previously. So I don't need to use Photopea anymore. So let's close this down. And I'm just going to drag my new game board onto this place here. There you go. Done that. New cave board. Click on save. Now at this stage, I'd probably recommend that you play test your game because you should be able to have a version of a game to play. It's really important for, say, next week when we do it, because we want to do a play test for everyone. But you need to kind of have it refined a bit so that you're happy and you think other people enjoy the game. So let's import these objects in like we had done previously. So make sure that everything is there. So I'm going to go to my folders. Yeah, that's all in there. Cave Rush, cards, that's all in there. Perfect. All right, let's go to my game. Let's go to my setup. Let's go to edit setup and let's do that. Now it's still saved the old logo, but I'm sure that will change afterwards when it's been published. Right. So like last time, my folders are a little bit messed up. So I have to do this, but your one shouldn't. Right, so where are we? So first of all, I don't want to be dragging, I don't want the camera to start so far away each time. So basically I want to set initial camera. And that's basically going to be how close the camera starts each time. I've got my do token here, so I'm going to drag that. Got my do token. I've only got 2 characters, so I actually had some more characters. I don't want this black token because you can't really see it now. So I'm going to put this red token there because we've got red player. And I don't really want the brown token because again, you can't see it. And then use the yellow token. Perfect. And the same for the people. I need a red one and a yellow one. Perfect. We've got our board game, so let's put the board game down. Now, it'll probably be a little bit small, as I said, yeah? So let's make this a bit bigger. So 50, 50, 50, yeah, that's fine. Oh, don't want to do that. I was using the mouse wheel there, so let's drag that. Now this is where you're going to have your setup. So you need to put everything in place. So I want this here. This is all going to be at the start. You've got your dice here. That can be here. And then we just need the cards. So let's click on that. Now I don't want to drag and drop these because like last time, I want to have the random one. So let's put one down. I want it to be on the back. So let's flip it. and then I want to duplicate it 12 times. Duplicate it as many times as I have in the folders. So I want that to be maxed out. So we've got 12 at the moment, plus the 11 there. So we've got 13. So let's put that all there. That's it. Last one, we'll duplicate this. We'll duplicate it 5 times just to show you. So it will duplicate it as many times, and then it will give me this error saying you can't duplicate anymore because you've already at 15. So that's fine. Okay. And that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Now, at this stage, I can play test a game. I can play test a game to see how it will be, if it will be fun, how I've done the cards and everything. Let's make these a bit smaller, actually. I want to move these to about 30%. Yeah, that's fine. I'll move these a little bit closer as well. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to do save and publish. And let's just play a quick, simple, not maybe to the end of my game, just to show you. So we're going to go here, exit. And then once you're playing the game, you'll see like, oh, do I need to change anything? Do I need to do whatever? Or actually, yeah, I think the cards are pretty good. And then you can start refining the process. So let's exit. Click on my 2 to 4 player setup. It's still publishing now, so I won't be able to play test. So I have to wait, and I'll come back when that's published. So we've had it published, and then you'll see it published because it will say published, and you can test the game. So let's do that. So like I said, play for a few rounds or play as many rounds as you want, just to get an overview of the game, make sure that the rules are right, and just for ready next week when you start play testing with your friends, your family, or with the group. Yeah, to make sure. Now it's zoomed over here because on Thursday I actually set the camera to be where the tokens are, and it's already automatically picked me, so that's where it's done it. Whereas you remember previously I'd done it in the middle, but that's just, you know, you right click and then you click set camera angle. So let's play the game. Now, first thing I can see that the token's too big, but I'll make that small, so I'll make a little note of that. Put the token here, and basically everyone has to roll the dice. First player gets the dice, and then they can make the first move. Right, so we'll roll the dice, and the player with the highest number gets to go first. So let's roll for 1. So blue gets 3. Yellow gets 5. Okay, hard to beat. Red gets 3, and green gets 1. Okay, so yellow goes first. So yellow gets the token. So yellow can get the token here. And then it will go around in a circle there. So yellow gets to go first. So let's do that. So roll 1. So we all start from here and we go from here. So 1, and yellow gets to pick a card. And cave run. So move 1 space. I want cards to trigger when you go in them, and you could have, you know, you can trigger them yourself to be strategic, or you could have other players trigger it. So I want that to be for someone else. So I'll probably just keep that in my hand for now, but because I can only have 1 hand, I'll have that down there. So you have up to 3 cards in your hand. Again, I'm still kind of working out the rules, but we'll see. Next is red. That's 4. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, yellow's got the coin here, but you know, we can get some drop cards maybe. Pick a card. We've got +1 space -1 coin. Yeah, we'll use that. So let's put that down here. Next is green. 3. So 1, 2, 3. Triggers a card. So obviously that triggers. So move one space, but minus one coin. Let's do a discard pile here for some reason. And then gets to pick a card. Got a drop card, which he wants. But you want the drop card to be beyond your character, because if you drop it here, you want to be able to choose it. So let's put the drop card here for now. Let's do green. So green, sorry, not green, blue. So that's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everyone's together. And that's another drop card. So we'll put, I don't know what green has done, so I'm going to put a drop card here. Or maybe, put it here. Why not? Now, yellow again. 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 4 is ahead, so that's fine. Pick a card. We're going to do -1 space plus 1 coin. And we're going to place this on top of the same box we're in. Now I can already see that the boxes are a bit too small and the cards, so I need to make the cards smaller. So that'll be a note that I'll put down for next time. Cards only trigger when you enter the box, so next time someone will go in there or trigger. So let's do, who are we next? So that's yellow, so let's do red. Red has 3, so 1, 2, 3. This card will trigger, and that's move back 1 space, but 1 coin, sorry. So you get 1. Cool. And let's draw a card. Oh, no, that's yellow's card, isn't it? Sorry. It's going to be a bit hard with playing with everyone. That's +1 space, -1 coin. Actually, let's have that. We'll put that here. So that, again, it will just trigger when anyone goes in. Green next. 1. 1 will be +1 space, -1 card. So it'll move back 1, move forward 1, sorry. -1. So green has actually got -2 already. So this is the sort of thing that you can start working your strategy around the cards. Blue next. We've got 3. 1, 2, 3. Nothing happens. Let's see what card we've got. We've got +1 space, -1 coin. Let's try to get yellow. Now, if I place this here, I know it will just affect yellow. So let's do that, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this token for blue, but I can definitely try to get a reduced point system. So let's do that. So now yellow, so it's 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this goes first, triggers. This is +1 space, -1 coin. Then this triggers. This is drop the card, so that drops it here. This drop card, but that doesn't have effect, so that will stay where it is. Oh, I also forgot to do this. After each round, this moves forward. So what do we have? 2 rounds. So no one can move past this point here. Yeah, so we've got that. Now this isn't really going to affect anything because the token's here, so we need to move it back. But there's ways to do that. You can keep moving back and getting it, but we can see. So yeah, that was yellow. So let's do red. Or 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Goes past the token, gets the token. Oh, not yellow as well. So now red's got token, which is good. Gets to draw a card. And -1 space, +1 coin. So let's have, let's move that there, put that on that token there, so that if anyone goes, they're a little bit further behind. 4. Who we are? Green. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Nothing happens because that's a token, a drop card. And let's draw a card. Let's do another drop card. Now I don't know what that is, so I can put that on top here. And now it will always be whatever the top card is. So now blue's getting a little bit worried, like, oh, what's it going to be? But you could do it just to like freak people out, try to get in their head. So let's do blue. Move this forward. Sorry, that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This flips, nothing happens. But now everyone's kind of beyond that point, so you can get rid of it. Well, you can kind of keep it there. It doesn't. Well, I'm not too sure. Let's what this is. This is -1 space, but +1 coin. So get 1 coin. So as you can see already in the game, someone's got -1, -2, +1, +1, and we're on at this point here. So I'm quite happy with that is. Not about the spacing and stuff, but we'll do one more round and then that will be it for today. So move this, so what was that? That was blue. So let's move this forward and let's do yellow. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What have we got here? We've got -1 space, +1 coin. I can use that for myself because I've already got -1. So chances are I'm so far ahead, I might probably get that coin. So I'll put that there. So I'll move back 1 space. Red will do 3, 1, 2, 3. And what have you got? You've got -1 space, +1 coin. We can put that here for now. Green will be 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now see. Oh, sorry, that was blue. So my mistake. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is -1 space, but +1 coin. So you've got +1. Now, I'd probably, for red, probably wouldn't have put that there because you don't want to give coins to other people. But you sometimes, you know, you could kind of try to, maybe those cards are mainly for yourself or for other people. We'll have to see. I don't know. I'm not too sure yet. Let's draw a card for green. And drop cards, and that's really useful. So we're going to place this and over put it on that one. So I'll know that when red goes by, that's going to drop the card. And then we'll do blue, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Activate this card. Knows that it's a drop card, so now everyone knows what green was doing. So red doesn't have a choice. You have to drop the cards. And then this moves forward. And just for argument's sake, we'll do this 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll draw a card. What will happen? 6. 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Drop card happens, and then the token drops there. And see, the token gets dropped further along as you go along with the game. I'm quite happy with it. I need to change some sizes, but that's pretty much it for this week. So I've gone through Photopia. Highly recommend that you look at those 2 websites, Pixabay and Unsplash. Yep. And yeah, play around with the Photopia. You can't really go too wrong with it. It's a really good program, even though it is, you know, limited to what Photoshop can do. But if you want to get interested into Photoshop, then, you know, it's a great place to start. If you are, you know, if you're having issues, then I'd recommend that you get in contact with us. All the details will be in the description. If you want to take part into the game making course, maybe you're doing it so far and you know, want to showcase it right at the end, you're more than welcome to. Just get in contact with us, and I'm sure we can work something out. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Do some play testing, because that's really important. You need to play test, you know, even if it's just for yourself or with one other person. See how long it takes. We've only been playing for a few minutes, but we're already near the end, and that's pretty good. You know, make sure that the rules aren't too long. And at the end, try to get some feedback from your friends. You know, what things can you improve? What do they like about the game? What do they didn't like about the game? Once things are more locked down, you can be like, oh, okay, I will, you know, refine the board a bit more. I will do whatever. So that's really, really important. I think that's pretty much it. So I will see you next week. Okay, bye.